It's going to be very short and sweet. So here goes. Maybe fix this? Yeah, and it's kind of short. Thank you. Yeah, let's hear it for short people. Woo! Not anymore! Okay. Thank you, Noel. Okay. Wrong page. I'd like to acknowledge that we are on unceded Musqueam land, and I raise my hands in respect to the Musqueam people. I've lived in New Westminster for most of my life, so I also raise my hands in respect to the Kakite people for the place that I've called home for the last 25 years. I'm sure many of you are wondering, who am I, and why have I been asked to speak today? Well, my name is Shannon Hecker. I am a mother. I'm an anthropology student here at UBC. When I go visit my friends in Splatcheen, I am Sama. I'm protector of Sesnom, and in my personal blog have chronicled the events regarding what settlers call the Marpole Midden. I was asked to speak today because I'm a settler and because I'm an ally. As a white Canadian female, I must, and I emphasize must, recognize that the privileged status that I enjoy today was only made possible to the detriment of many nations whose territories were expropriated by European settlers in the name of progress in order to construct this beautiful country that we call Canada. I'm going to talk about three things today: the pervasive systemic racism in Canada, the importance of building alliances between Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples, and why all Canadians should care about Aboriginal sovereignty in regards to environmental protection. Here's a little story that illustrates the pervasiveness of the systemic racism that characterizes our society. When I was 13 years old, I ventured to Maine and Hastings along with some friends of mine. I couldn't have been there for no longer than 10 minutes when a police cruiser pulled up. They got out, and I was asked to get in the car. They got my information, and they called my parents, let them know that they were bringing me home. They told me, "Don't worry, you're not in any trouble, but this place is no place for a girl like you." We stopped at McDonald's along the way for ice cream. I didn't really understand why I'd been saved from the downtown east side, but my friends were left behind. We all lived in New Westminster, in the same neighborhood. We were all the same age, and we went to the same school. The only difference between us was that they were Indians and I was white. This episode has stuck with me throughout my life, although I can't really even begin to understand how it feels to be the subject of racism. It wasn't until I was much older that I came to really understand its significance of the episode, not racism so much, but sorry. This is just one example. Oh gosh. One example of the systemic racism that Aboriginal people face on a daily basis. I'm here today because I want to encourage all Canadians, Indigenous and non-Indigenous, to try and understand our differences and move beyond the stereotypes and the racism. Everyone is racist. We all are. You can't help but avoid racism. It permeates throughout the institutions our country was built upon. We have been taught to think this way, and we must unlearn. It's up to all of us as Canadians to say enough is enough. Let's build an equitable relationship between Indigenous people and settlers from the ground up. I know that we all have pride in this magnificent land. I know this country is one of the richest in the world when it comes to natural resources. Look at the trees, the mountains, the rivers, the lakes that we all share. I want those things to remain the same for my children and for your children and for all our children's children. I know it's kind of cliche. For thousands of years, Indigenous peoples have been stewards of this land and have always ensured the survival of the future generations by maintaining an equilibrium among all beings. The issues raised by Harper government passing legislation such as Bill C-38 BC Bill C-35 are public issues, not just Indigenous issues, something that's important to all of us as Canadians. Right now, our future is at stake. By pushing this omnibus bill, the Harper government is enabling the effective wholesale of our country. The question that I ask, what will be left for the children, for our children, mine especially, and yours too? How will they survive this degradation? One of the outcomes of building alliances is creating public pressure. And only when we are all able to stand together will there ever be any change. And that is why I am Idle No More. Thank you.